All right, so it seems like the Bears are completely done with their offseason acquisitions, or at least sort of the big ones. We're probably not going to see sort of a Drew Dalman or Joe Tooney level signing or trade for the rest of the offseason. Pretty much the only big moves we're going to make is the NFL draft, which is completely fine because we added a lot of pieces, especially to the trenches this offseason. And I'm actually going to go through all the trades and free agent acquisitions and give my grade and sort of tell you guys how I feel about them. Now, I'm going to take into account obviously the player itself, the contract, and also for the trades, what we gave up. And that's going to sort of play into what kind of grade I give them. So starting off with the first guy that we traded for, which was Jonah Jackson, who is more of a left guard, but he played center and right guard at LA. And we gave up a 6th-round pick this year in order to get him. And funny enough, that was actually the pick that we got from the Steelers for trading for Justin Fields. Honestly, it should have been a 4th-round pick if they would have played him longer. But, of course, the Steelers are going to do that to us and give us a 6th-round pick. Either way, we were still able to trade for a pretty solid guard in Jonah Jackson. Obviously, last year, he didn't have his best year. He was injured most of the season. And when he did come back, he wasn't really that good. And I blame that more on sort of the coaching staff and just not knowing where to put him. He was never a center and he was never really a right guard. Now, I know Ben Johnson said we're going to play him at right guard this year, but I think because of the fact that he has actually played under Ben Johnson, under his scheme, I think he's going to do fine for us at right guard. I don't think it's going to be the end of the world. I don't think it's going to be as bad as it was when he was in LA. But honestly, give that move a B, just a regular B, not a B minus, not a B plus. I give it a B because it's a B right off the bat just because of the fact it's the trenches. It's specifically the offensive line, and more specifically the interior offensive line, which is where we had the most trouble last season, and pretty much for the past 5 or 6 years, to be honest. So I give that a B, and the reason why I'm not going to give it any higher is only because of the fact that he had a pretty bad year last year. Obviously, we are taking on a bit of money. Now, I still don't really know the numbers. Nobody really came out and was really clear about that. But from what I'm seeing, it's about 15 to 20 million for this year. Now, obviously, an extension can come and restructuring can come through. So that might change the grade a little bit. But as of right now, that's kind of where I'm leaning towards, sort of a B, maybe a B plus. But we don't know how he's going to play, especially at right guard where he hasn't played that good in LA. So if this was at left guard, I think I'd probably bump it up to a B plus. But still a really solid move. Obviously, you're addressing the trenches, which is what we really need to do. So I'm completely fine with this move. A B, a solid B for us. Moving on to the next signing, or trade, might I add. This is for Joe Tooney from the Chiefs. We gave up a 2026 4th-round pick to go get him. And this is a solid A+. I mean, need I not say more? Like, this dude is a 2-time All-Pro. These past 2 seasons, a 4-time Super Bowl champion. And obviously, it's a team effort. It's not just him. But he has been sort of the interior anchor for most of the offensive lines that he's played under. Obviously, he's played with the Patriots and the Chiefs. So he's got to block for guys like Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes, who are 2 of the top quarterbacks in NFL history. So he comes from winning cultures, and he's bringing that culture to Chicago. And even though he is a bit older, I believe he's turning 32 or 33 this year, I'm still fine with it because he's still playing at a very elite level. Now, if this was a guy, like a Jonah Jackson who was injury prone, maybe his best years were behind him, like way behind him, sort of like a Khalil Mack, then it would be lower. But this dude is still playing at an extremely high level, and he has the versatility to play left tackle, which where he played last season. And guess what? Even though he was playing out of position last season, he gave up 0 sacks. That's right. 0 sacks, and might I add, 1 penalty. All year long, 1 penalty and 0 sacks at his old age of 30, which is not super old, but still older than you'd like for any NFL player, but he's still playing it at a very elite level. Easy A+ for us. I believe we're paying him around like $17 million. Honestly, I don't really care. This guy is elite. We need interior help. Easy A+ for me, honestly. If we were paying him like $30 million, maybe, but solid A+ on my end. Then we got our first free agent signing, which was obviously the one we all wanted, which was Drew Dalman at center. Another easy A+ for us. Once again, addressing a very important need, our most important need, which was center. Obviously, you can find a lot of good guards and good right guards and left guards. It is very hard to find a quality starter at center. And obviously, the Bears have had so many issues trying to find that ever since Cody Whitehair, really. Ever since he's been a Pro Bowler, we've not had him, or we've not had that sort of level of play like Cody Whitehair since then. And we've had guys like Sam Mustipher. We've had guys like Lucas Patrick, Coleman Shelton last year, Ryan Bates. These guys just are not cutting it for us. They're not quality starters. Drew Dalman, we are paying him $14 million per season on average. Not sure how the per year basis works, which is, whether it's front loaded or back loaded. But either way, guys, this is arguably our best center since maybe even Olin Kreutz, to be honest. He's not the best, but he's still really good. He's still, I would say a top 10 center in this league. And for what we've had, man, we've had probably bottom 5 centers in this league. So this is a huge flip around. Easy A+ in my book, man. I really hope he does good in Ben Johnson's system, but what a signing for Ryan Poles. Moving on to arguably my least favorite, but not a terrible signing in Dayo Odeyingbo. I think I'm saying that name finally right. If I'm not, I'm sorry. I'm not like that. Can't spell or can't read, I guess. But Dayo Odeyingbo, defensive end from the Colts. I know he played a lot of defensive tackle last year, so there is argument to be said about the Colts not using him properly. But it's not really about him as the player. It's more of the contract that we gave him, which was an average of $16 million a year. Now, I'm hearing it is a backloaded contract, so that does make things a little bit better for this year. However, it is still a $16 million per year average. And just for that, I'm going to give this sort of a B-. Now, the reason why it's not really any lower than that and why that's still solid is, once again, Ryan Poles is addressing a big need for us, which was the defensive line. Obviously, we are super thin on that front, and we need more players there. We obviously don't have any quality starters, especially after we cut DeMarcus Walker. So I'm happy that Ryan Poles is at least attacking that. And if Dennis Allen sees something in Dayo, and taking into account the fact that he's only 25 years old, he's still really young and very athletic NFL player. If Ryan Poles and Dennis Allen see something in this kid to where they can sort of mold him, and they believe that he's not a finished product yet, and he turned out to be really good, then $16 million will look like a steal for us. So he did have 8 sacks 2 seasons ago. So, if we can build off of that season, that would be great. But as of right now, I'm not the biggest fan of this move, but I can at least see the logic behind signing him. And this is sort of a high risk, high reward signing, which I'm not always the biggest fans of. But if you can make it work, man, Dennis Allen, if this was Matt Eberflus, I would have no faith. But Dennis Allen has been a consistently good defensive play caller, and I think he can really do something with Dayo. We just don't know yet. So I'm going to give that a B- for now, and we'll see how he plays. And now the final sort of big name signing for us was defensive tackle Grady Jarrett from the Atlanta Falcons. He was cut actually the first day of NFL free agency, and later on that day, we go ahead and sign him. And I'm going to give this a B+. Now, this is honestly, I will make a video on this, on why I think this, but he is actually the most underrated signing in my opinion, just because of his run stuffing ability. Because last year, we had only Andrew Billings to really stop the run. After that, when he got hurt, our run defense was terrible. Now, it wasn't obviously the best with him there, but he's only one person. He can't, do the work of 4 people in one, and he's not Aaron Donald by any means, but, there was still a gaping hole that was left when he was injured. And if, God forbid, another injury like that were to happen again, instead of throwing Zach Pickens into there, who was absolutely terrible, who probably should be cut at this point, we can throw in Grady Jarrett. Now, obviously, he's not going to be, a Zach Pickens role player. He's going to be more of a rotational piece, maybe even a starter. And that's completely fine with me, man. He still has a lot of juice in the tank. He has high energy. I just love the kind of player he is. And if you go watch the clip of him talking crap to Jordan Love, calling him a little, what, not going to say it on the channel here, but he talks a lot of crap, man. I love the energy that he brings for the Chicago Bears and that defensive line that desperately needs some help. So once again, Ryan Poles attacking, a position of need, a position where we are lacking in depth. And now we actually have some depth. We actually got Javon Dexter, Andrew Billings, and Grady Jarrett as sort of our 3 defensive tackles. And, we'll most likely add one more in the draft. So there you go. Our defensive tackles will probably be set after the draft. I love this signing. It's sort of a 1 to 2 year sort of plan for him, because obviously he is 31 years old, so he's not getting any younger. He's most likely not going to get any better just because he's getting older. But I don't mind it. B+. Honestly, you can even make an argument for that being an A- in my book. I love the move. I really like it. The price is a little bit steep. I believe we're paying him about $14 million a year, and it's not super steep, but I like it. I like it. It's nothing crazy. It's not Drew Dalman level. It's not, excuse me, Joe Tooney's level signing, but I love it nonetheless. So those are my grades for the, I believe, 6 or 5 signings I mentioned / trades. Let me know what you guys think about these trades, what grades you're going to give them. Bear down them out.